Friends, we are back to know the effect of proportional control action on a feedback control loop, which is, as you can see, given by the output of that ys is given by this term multiplied by the change in set point plus another big term like this into whatsoever is the loading or whatsoever is the disturbance acting upon the process. Now, I may just tell you that GP is the transfer function of the process, GF is the transfer function of final control element, GC is the transfer function of controller, and in case of proportional controller, this GC is equal to KC, gain of the controller, simply. And what we see over here, GM is the transfer function of measuring device. GD is the transfer function of process as it is affected by the disturbance. So we will simplify this big term and this big term so that you don't get confused. You are able to grasp the concept of effect of proportional control action on various types of processes. This can be a first order process or a second order process and so on and so forth. We will take one by one all the cases. We will take first of all a servo problem where we are going to introduce a step change in the step set point, and we will assume in that case that there is no disturbance, so this d bar will be 0. In second case, we will assume that there is no change in set point, so we will take this term as 0 and we will give a step change over here to know the dynamic response of whatsoever the process is, first order or second order, and then have a look at the output in presence of proportional controller in the feedback loop. So again, we are going to simplify these equations one by one for your easy understanding. What we see, first of all, we assume that, as I said, that measuring device has a simple transfer function as 1, final control element has a simple transfer function as 1, and the controller, because it's a proportional controller, it's only proportional controller, there is no integral, no differential, so its transfer function is taken as KC, as gain of the controller. This is what we go in for here. Ultimately, this big intimidating, fearful looking equation, it boils down to a relatively simpler equation over here, because you see this GF is 1, this GC has been replaced by KC, this GM is 1, and so on. Even this GF is 1. So is the case with all these things. So we are left with something simpler equation. We'll be making use of this equation in the future slides instead of this one, which is slightly complicated looking. So once again, we will take the issues when we will give a step change to this, to the first order system as a process is modeled, and we will take this ds to be equal to 0, and that will become the servo problem. That's what we're going to proceed one by one to know the dynamics of the system. Now the question comes, what is GP for the first order system? We will model it once again. And we also want to know what is GD for the first order system. We will model this also once again afresh for you to move further. For the first order system, as you all know, that we can model it by the first order linear differential equation, and tau p is the time constant of the process, kp is the gain of the process, m is the manipulated variable, kd is the gain of the process as far as the disturbance d is concerned. We have not explicitly shown, but you can see there's an invisible bar over here and a bar over here and a bar over here and a bar over here, it means that all those things are taken in terms of deviation variables. Why? Because you want the initial value of y bar 0, m bar 0, d bar 0, etc., etc. They all are taken at 0 because the initial stage is a steady state. This is what we have been telling you for n number of times. So once you go in for all these terms, what you get ultimately, you take the Laplace and then you take the common point and then you divide and so on and so forth. When you take Laplace of this becomes y into s into tau p. This y comes constant and this tau p s plus 1 that comes in the denominator. It comes in the denominator of this term and it comes in the denominator of this term also. So we have been calling this as GP and we have been calling this as GD. So in the last slide I told you that we want to know what is GP and what is GD. So from here it's very clear once again that you have tau p as the time constant, kp as the static gain for manipulation, kd as the static gain for the load. Load here means the disturbance which is going to disturb the system from the steady state. And this term, as I said, is nothing but what we call it as GP. It's again kp upon tau ps plus 1. And this term kd upon tau ps plus 1 is nothing but GD. So this is what we have proved it. So now we will be taking care of GPs and GDs as such in terms of KPs and KDs and tau Ps. So I think it's now very well clear to you in what direction we are heading at. So once again, the moment we put the value of GP and GD in the equation which was shown in the very first slide, you get this equation, and from here we go in for the fact that this entire thing, because you can divide throughout by kp kc and this will become some term. It can be expressed in the equivalent term. Even this can be expressed in the equivalent term, that is in the presence of kc the whole thing gets modified. It still remains first order, but you know this k dash p has changed, this tau dash p has changed, and so has this k dash d. This has also slightly changed. And if you see from the simple mathematical manipulations over here, you will find that this tau dash p is nothing but tau p upon 1 plus kp. What I've done is I'm simply divided by 1 plus kp in the denominator and so on, so as to get the value over here. And so is the case with k dash p. So what do we see? That this tau p is now 1 plus kp upon kc. Something more than 1 is getting divided. It means that this tau dash p is going to be lesser than tau p. Tau dash p lesser than tau p means that in the presence of proportional controller, what do we see? In the presence of proportional controller, the time constant of the controller, the controlled process, total overall time constant of the controlled process on account of the proportional control action, that becomes smaller, means the process becomes quicker. And as the value of this kc goes on increasing, the gain of proportional controller, that goes on increasing. You can make it 1, you can make it 10, you can make it 100. The value of tau p will also go on becoming smaller and smaller. It means the system will become faster and faster. And so is the effect. Not only is this time constant becoming smaller, so is the gain of manipulated variable, so is the gain of the load or the disturbance. As such, this is what we conclude from the mathematics of these equations so far. So these k dash p and k dash t are known as the closed loop static gains. Kp and Kd were the open loop static gains. In absence of the controller, in the presence of controller, on account of Kc, they are, because here also you see, my dear friends, what you do is to make it open loop, put Kc is equal to 0. You will be left with tau p, you could, and so on. So you can see that I don't want these things to be left as such, because I give more and more value of Kc and the value of tau dash p will become smaller and smaller, right? This is what we go in for here. Now, coming back to the fact that the presence of proportional control is going to make the system faster. This is what is given by this simple inequality that tau dash p, the controlled time constant, is lesser than the actual time constant, the original one without proportional controller. So once again, you want to conclude the first order system remains first order system with respect to load as well as with respect to set point changes, both. Second thing is that, as we already said, that tau dash p is less than tau p, which means that the closed loop response has become faster as compared to the open loop response, both for the set point and for the loading. And the static gains have decreased for both. We have seen that Kp and Kd both have gone down. So what are we going to do? We are going to give a step change in the set point, and we are going to assume that there is no disturbance or loading. So this is what we call it as the servo problem, and there is only step change in set point and no change given to the disturbance. We are given step change for the sake of knowing the dynamics. It can be any change otherwise, and this is what we get ultimately. If you see, I have just put the response over here for the step change, and this I put d dash is equal to 0, d bar is equal to 0. I will take the Laplace inverse of this in the time domain, and what do I get? I see that taking the Laplace inverse, I get yt is equal to, I'm simply inverting it, and this is something very interesting. See, I had given a step change. Step change means that the set point has changed from 0 to 1. So the final value I'm expecting the process to follow and reach is 1. But what do I get? That from this equation, final value is when I take t is equal to infinity. When t is equal to infinity, then e the power minus t tau p dash tau upon minus t upon tau dash p, this term will become 0. But when this term becomes 0, what I find is that yt, which I was expecting it to be 1, is not 1. Rather it is k dash p. So this was supposed to be 1, but it is not 1. There is some difference. This 1 minus k dash p is the difference. This difference is called offset. This is what we are going to discuss in the further slides. So that's what I was telling you, that at t approaching infinity, this term will become 0 and you will be left with the final value as k dash p. It will never reach the desired set point of unity. There will be a difference between the two, and this difference is called offset. This is what I have been telling you. This difference is called offset, and this offset is nothing but 1 minus k dash p. It was supposed to be 1, but it is not 1. The new set point was 1, and the ultimate response, the ultimate value of this response is k dash p. So the difference of the two is 1 minus k dash p. I put the value of k dash p. If you recall, the value of k dash p was nothing but kp into kc divided by 1 plus kp into kc. So when you subtract this from here, you are left with this. This is the offset. Ideally, offset should be 0. There should not be any difference between the new set point and the ultimate value. Ideally, this should be 0. This is not 0, but there is some point to be noted. If this Kc, had there been no Kc, had there been no proportional action at all, the uncontrolled thing, put Kc is equal to 0. In that case, the offset is 1. Offset is 1 means that you are given a set point change in 1, nothing happens, and the entire set point remains there. There is no corrective action. But in this case, on account of the value of Kc, this thing will be less than 1. As you can all see, this is less than 1. 1 upon 1 plus something is always less than 1. It is not 1. So there is some action taken by the proportional controller, and depending upon the gain, if this gain is larger, if this Kc, value of Kc is larger and larger, this entire term will be smaller and smaller. It means that the offset is becoming smaller and smaller. Ideally speaking, when Kc becomes infinity, this offset also becomes 0. Obviously, we cannot have Kc is equal to infinity. Kc is the gain of proportional controller, and we cannot have gain more than, say, 100, 200, cannot go more than that, because you all know, you all have studied in control systems that higher gains lead to instability. The system tends to become unstable under high gain conditions. So I'm not going to repeat that factor. Practically, you cannot have very large gains. It means that under these conditions are that this is a first order system. Conditions are that we have given a step change in the set point. Conditions are that we are assuming that disturbance is equal to 0. Under those conditions, for the first order system, regular first order system, lag system as we call it, what we are getting is that it will never ever be able to remove the offset, because Kc will never ever be infinity in practice. This is what we have concluded so far, but then there are some exceptions to that. We will deal with those exceptions also. There is only one exception, by the way. There are many examples of that one exception. Examples can be many, but the model is one where this rule means that proportional controller fails to remove the offset whenever there is a step change given to the set point. This is a rule. There is exception that we will discuss separately. So as you see, the offset is that it was supposed to be 1, ultimately the step change, but ultimate value, it happens to be something lesser than that, and the difference between the final value and the desired values, this is the final value, this is the final value, as you can see, and this is the desired value. The gap is given by 1 plus 1 upon Kp plus Kc, same as given in over here. So ultimately you want to make the offset 0. The only thing is you have to make Kc is equal to infinity. So offset will be 0 only when Kc is equal to infinity, which is practically not possible. This is what we have been telling you again and again. Now we take a regulatory problem. What is there in regulatory problem? Instead of taking set point, giving a unit change in step change in set point, we assume that the set point remains constant, but we give a step change in the load, that is the disturbance is given a step change, and you all know that Laplace of this ds is step change is given by 1 upon s. So the same thing, the same equation, only thing is that instead of taking k dash p, we have taken k dash d. Now this is multiplied by 1 upon s. That's the only difference which we have taken over here. Rest everything will move in the same fashion. Take Laplace inverse, you will get the same thing. But here again, the final value of this will be k dash d. When this t becomes infinity, this term will become 0. It's on the same lines. The offset is given by the set point minus the ultimate value of the response. So we have not given any change in the set point, because it's a regulatory problem. So the final value you want it back to 0, but it is not back to 0, it is minus k dash d, and k dash d is nothing but minus kd upon 1 plus kp kc. And again you see that here again this offset will remain until kc is equal to infinity, same condition. But diagrammatically this can be represented in a different manner. As you can see that if you give a change in the load, right, then under no control conditions it's going to rise up and up and up, but with control it's going to be controlled. It's not going to go that high. there will be this offset, but this offset will be lesser. See, in case of absence of Kc, this offset would have been Kd. Now it is Kd upon something, which means lesser. It's lesser. It's contained, but this offset is not 0. We want it back to 0 because there is no change in set point. We wanted the final value back to be 0, but it is not 0. So offset is there. So once again, we see that whether it is a servo problem or it is a regulatory problem, the proportional control alone is not able to remove the offset in either of the two cases. That's what the conclusion is so far. Once again, it will be 0 only when Kc is equal to infinity, which is not practically possible. Now, the exception I was talking of was that in certain processes, which we call it as the purely capacitive process, the process is purely capacitive. And what is the significance? What's the characteristics of that process? That purely capacitive processes are given by the term 1 by s in their transfer function. This is what we have studied in the previous sessions as such. So when they are controlled with the proportional controller, in that particular case, specifically for the set point changes, they do not exhibit offset. That is when we say that proportional controller is not able to remove the offset in first order systems, provided, the exception is provided that the process is not purely capacitive. The process is not having this term 1 by s. And if you remember, we had a kind of process where the flow was fixed by a pump, fixed discharge pump. So those kind of processes had their transfer function given by Gp is equal to 1 upon As. A is area of cross section. So these are the kind of processes where proportional control alone will be able to remove the offset and will not follow this rule, specifically in set point changes. So let's see this one by one. So once again, we see the equation for your ready reference, so that you might have forgotten this whole thing again. We will take this Sp is equal to 1 upon S. This is a step change. We will take this thing to be 0 for the time being in the first case. And this Gp we will take as 1 upon As. This is what's going to go over here. And then see what's going to happen one by one, and see what is the offset in the next slide. So as you see, we have gone in for again Gm and Df equal to 1. And once you go in for this, what do we get? That this change in the height of this tank is given by this change in the set point multiplied by Gc multiplied by Gf anyway is 1 multiplied by Gp, which is 1 upon As, and then we have this Gm also equal to 1. So ultimately this closed loop response of this will yield this term into H dash P. Similarly for this, it is going to be this term as we had seen in the previous slide, and where we're going to take this thing to be 0 for the time being. We're going to take this thing to be equal to 1 upon S as it is the step change. As it is the step change, you take it as 1 upon S unit step change. So as I said, this unit step change is 1 upon S, and this I have taken to be equal to 0, and the whole thing boils down to this. We simplify it and we see that if you apply final value theorem, which says that to know the final value, you multiply the function with s and put s is equal to 0. When you multiply this thing by s, this s gets cancelled and you put this s is equal to 0, you will be left with 1 upon 1, that is 1. So the final term is 1, and the offset is the desired change minus the actual change. Desired change was 1, actual is also 1, and so you see the offset is equal to 0. So the proportional gain is able to remove the offset in these kind of situations where the process is purely capacitive, given by A 1 upon As as such. So this is something which we have noticed. That's the exception. We can have many examples for that where the process is purely capacitive. Let's try and see if the same thing is true for unit step change in load. This is the one which we get it for the load, and we put 1 upon S. And again, when we put the final value theorem, it comes out to be multiply by S, multiplied by S, this thing goes, and put S is equal to 0, this thing goes, and you are left with only 1 upon Kc. So this 1 upon Kc, we wanted this to be equal to, 0. So there is no change in set point, and the final value is 1 upon Kc. The difference between the two is given by 0 minus 1 upon Kc is equal to minus 1 upon Kc. And here we see that the system is not able to remove the offset. Even in case of pure capacitive processes in regulatory problem, it was able to remove the offset in servo problems, but it is not able to remove the process in regulatory problems. This is the point which you need to commit to memory. So this thing is not equal to 0. So here we have once again second order system, and we're going to see the servo problem. It means that the transfer function of the second order process, as we know, is given by Kp upon tau square S square plus 2 zeta tau S plus 1. Now we are going to make use of this Gp in the term which we have already made use of, that the y is given by Gp into Kc. Kc, my dear friends, is the transfer function of proportional controller. In this case will be Kc, and wherever you have Gp, you have Gp here, you have Gp here, you have Gp here, and so on and so forth. We shall be taking the servo problem, therefore this term will be 0. We will not be taking into account this term. What we were left with is only this term, and here again in servo problem we shall be taking this YSP to be equal to the unit step change. As we will be seeing thereafter, we'll just put on the value of Gp as this thing and see what it comes. Taking this ds bar is equal to 0 and putting the value of Gp in this equation, what you see is that when you put it over here, this equation gets modified on account of the presence of Gc, on the presence of Kc, and on account of the fact that now you have this thing in the term with 1 plus, because it's a feedback loop. That's why you have 1 plus Gp into Kc over here, and the resulting term will be something like this, which is quite similar to this. Only thing is that this Kp is becoming K dash P, this tau becomes tau dash square, and most importantly this zeta becoming zeta dash. So what are the values of K dash P? What are the values of tau dash and zeta dash? That we shall be seeing in the next slide. They are given by tau dash is given by tau upon 1 plus Kp Kc, zeta dash is given by zeta upon 1 plus Kp Kc, and K dash P is given by Kp Kc upon 1 plus Kp Kc. So what we understand is that the system becomes quicker, the time period becomes shorter, and the main thing to be seen over here is that system here has reduced damping. This is very important. Zeta is less. The new zeta is lesser than the old zeta. That is something which we need to understand, that on presence of Kc, the systems which are underdamped will become more underdamped faster and with the more overshoots as such, and even the overdamped systems have a tendency to become underdamped. This is the main point which we have shown over here. So it remains second order, static gain decreases, natural time period and damping factor decreases, the system can become underdamped, even the overdamped system can become underdamped. And if you see visually, we're not going into the much details, as such we see if we give a step change to this kind of system with the in the regulatory problem, let us say, that the final value of that comes out to be k dash p, which is given by this expression. It's quite similar to what we had done earlier, and again you see that it fails to remove the offset. It's mere repetition of what we had done earlier, which will be 0 only at kc is equal to infinity. This is the overall effect of the proportional gain. As you increase the gain, kc1, kc2 is more than kc1, kc3 is more than kc2. As you increase the gain, the system which was overdamped, that also tends to become underdamped. And not only underdamped, you go on increasing the value of kc, and even the oscillations become more prominent and faster. So this is the risk of having higher gains, because if the system is modeled as a second order system, you can very well see here that in this case system tends to become oscillatory. So we have to be very cautious in case we choose higher gains in proportional control. We have not gone in for too much of mathematical analysis in case of the second order system, because we had put in lots and lots of effort in making you explain the concept in the first order system. So things in second order system are by and large on the same lines. You can always go through the text in case you are more curious about. I'm not stopping you, but it's more or less the repetition. That's why this is the final snapshot of effect of proportional control action on second order systems as such. In case you have any queries or doubts, or you want to tell me something or share something, you can always contact me through Zoom or through LMS or through WhatsApp or through phones or through face-to-face interactions. I thank you for being with me. I wish you a very safe stay and enjoy learning. Bye bye. So here we have once again second order system, and we're going to see the